students, my name is Komal Shivnani. I am biology faculty at Vibrant Edge Division, Kota. So today in this video lecture, I'll be briefing you all about the world's one of the biggest Olympiad, that is the International Junior Science Olympiad, IJSO. So in this video lecture, I'll be briefing you all about what is IJSO, why it is known as the Olympic of all the Olympiads, what are the different stages in which this Olympiad is being conducted, and finally what is the exam pattern. After all this discussion, I'll move on to the topics in biology that we'll be going to cover to qualify the first stage of the IJSO. So if we talk about the IJSO, we are calling it as the Olympic of all the Olympiad. Why it is so? So you might have heard about the various international Olympiads which are being conducted at 12th level for the students of 12th class. But there is one of the Olympiad that is known as IJSO, which is conducted for you all, that is for the senior level students, class 9th and 10th, secondary level students. So in this, what we are trying to say is it is known as the Olympic of all the Olympiads because it is covering mainly physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. That is, it is covering the whole science. Along with that, it is also covering mathematics. Apart from it, one of the biggest Olympiad which is conducted for 9th and 10th level students. And what are the aims and objective of IJSO, means why they are trying to conduct this exam for 9th and 10th level students, and that too at an international level. So when we talk about this exam, or the conducting body which is organizing this exam, they try to say that they want to inculcate a particular experimentation habit in the students of 9th and 10th. Or they want to develop a particular theoretical and experimental analysis. They want to develop this knowledge for the students of the school level, that is class 9th and 10th. So one of the major objectives of IJSO was to develop or to inculcate a particular experimental analysis. They want to furnish the theoretical, along with that the experiments that are being conducted at the school level. And for that they are organizing this Olympiad. Secondly, they also want to develop a particular habit, that is since it is being organized in the world and different countries are participating, so there is a particular mixing, that is they are trying to say why not the students should develop a habit, they should interact with the culture of the different world. So that was also the second objective why this Olympiad is being organized. Apart from this, they also try to say that apart from going on to the theoretical and experimental analysis, they want the students of class 9th and 10th to develop a particular experimental thinking, that is to think out of the box, to develop a critical thinking. Rather than going on simply on theory and learning the things, they want to experiment as well. They want that theory to be applied on experiment. So this was all the major objectives why this Olympiad is being conducted for the students of class 9th and 10th level at international level. So now we'll talk about the different stages in which this Olympiad is being conducted. So since we are saying that it is the Olympic of all the Olympiads, so yes, it is one of the toughest Olympiad in the world, and it is being conducted in 5 stages. So what are the 5 stages? That we'll discuss it right now. Now we'll discuss about the 5 stages in which this Olympiad is being conducted. So the first stage is NSEJS, which stands for the National Standard Examination in Junior Science. This is the first stage of the IJSO Olympiad, in which out of all the applicants who will participate in this exam, from that the top 300 or approximately 350 students will qualify this exam or will be selected for this exam, and then they will move on to the second stage, which is INJSO. Apart from this, this stage is being conducted and organized by IAPT, which is a body that is known as the Indian Association of Physics Teachers. So IAPT organizes and conducts this exam. The question paper is prepared by this IAPT, and finally out of the all the applicants, the 300 or 350 students will qualify this exam and move on to the second stage. And the qualified students will receive a certificate after qualifying this first stage of Olympiad. So now if we talk about the second stage of IJSO, which is INJSO, that stands for the Indian National Junior Science Olympiad. In this INJSO stage, we'll say that out of the first stage, that is the top 300 or 350 students, they'll move on and they'll take this exam of INJSO, which is almost having the similar subjects except for the mathematics. We'll talk about the exam pattern later on. This exam, that is the second stage, is being organized and conducted by HPCSE, that is the Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education. It is conducted across the 15 centers in India, and finally the students out of the 300 or 350, almost 35 or 30 students qualify this stage and they move on to the third stage. Now we'll move on to the third stage of IJSO, which is OCSC. OCSC stands for the Orientation Cum Selection Camp, which is also organized by HPCSC, that is Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education. In this, that is the students who have qualified in the second stage IJSO, they'll take this exam. It is a kind of an orientation session in which the theoretical as well as the experimental tests, they are conducted for about 2 to 3 weeks. And in that, orientation sessions are also taken, and after that the experimental and theoretical tests are conducted. From that, the top 6 students or the 6 merit students are the special merit awardees, who will be given around 5,000 worth of book and cash, and then they'll move on to the 4th stage of the IJSO. 4th stage of IJSO is PDT, that stands for the pre-departure training. It is a kind of a camp which is also organized and conducted by HBCSC, that is Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education. In this pre-departure training camp, as the name suggests, before going on to the final stage, the 6 merit student awardees, they are being trained in this camp, and in that they are given proper training so that they can move on and take the exam of the IJSO, which is the final stage. Apart from this, they are being given the rigorous training on the various topics that they have to take in the exam IJSO, and they are being trained by the experts which are already present in HPCSC center. So now we'll talk about the final stage of IJSO, which itself is IJSO, that is International Junior Science Olympiad. This is the last stage of this Olympiad, in which we were seeing that the 6 merit student awardees who have been given the training in the pre-departure training camp, now they'll take this exam, and in this the 6-member student team plus there will be 3 teacher leaders who will constitute the delegation, and they will represent India for the IJSO. Now if we talk about the latest IJSO that was being conducted in the Gaborone, that was the capital city of Botswana, South Africa. It was conducted from 2nd to 11th of December 2018. So this was all about the 5 stages of IJSO, in which we were saying that this exam or this Olympiad is being conducted in 5 stages. Now if we move on to the exam pattern, we'll firstly discuss about the exam pattern of the first stage, that was NS-EJS. The exam consists of the complete subjects of science, that is physics, chemistry and biology, and as well as it covers mathematics. So total number of questions in NS-EJS are 80, that is, and the total marks are 240. So we are having a +3 for the right answer, and yes, there is a negative marking in this exam. So if you do any answer wrong, there will be a -1 will be deducted for the question that you have done wrong. So we are saying that yes, the total marks for this exam is 240, and the total number of questions that it covers is 80, in which we are covering physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. So it is the Olympic of all the Olympiads, and it is for all the junior scientists right out there who want to accomplish this Olympiad and who want to develop a particular theoretical as well as experimental analysis on their future. So the topics that we'll cover in the upcoming video lectures for biology to qualify the first stage of IJSO, that is NS-EJS, are as follows. The first topic that we'll cover in biology is cell and cell division, the most basic and the fundamental chapter for biology. Then we'll move on to the next chapter, that is protoplasm, in which we'll study the various components, that is carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, fats and nucleic acids. Then we'll move on to the third chapter, that is tissue, in which we'll discuss the plant and animal tissue in detail. Then we'll move on to the next chapter, that is diversity in living organism, in which we'll study the classification, the plant diversity and animal diversity. Then we'll move on to the next chapter, that is adaptation and why do we fall ill. In this chapter, we'll discuss about the human diseases and the different types of pathogens which are causing this disease. Then we'll move on to the chapter that is improvement in food resources, and then we'll move to the chapter that is plant and animal physiology, in which we'll discuss about the various processes, that is life processes like nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. Then we'll move on to the chapter control and coordination, locomotion and movement, reproduction, heredity and evolution, and at last we'll cover the chapter that is ecology, in which we'll also include the management and natural resources. So this is actually a brief idea about the various topics that we'll cover in biology for the stage 1 NS-EJS.